Alright guys, so this is a walkthrough on the first batch of butter knives that I modified to be tactical butter knives slash letter openers. And the first step that I do on all these is drill out all the holes, because I know I'm going to have paracord lanyards on each one. So I believe it was a 3/16 drill bit that I used, but essentially went through, drilled them all out, and then moved on to the next step with the belt grinder, which was grinding all the spines and faces of the blade just to flatten them out so there's a flat surface to work with. Most butter knives have like a little arch on the back of the knife itself, and then the blade obviously, curves quite a bit. So that would be step number 2, is flattening those out, and then I will move on to doing the tips and grinding a little angle on each one. And again, these are done on my belt grinder, but they're done with a pretty aggressive grit, just to take off as much material as I can, because at this point it's really just shaping the blades themselves and not so much sharpening anything. That would be essentially the last step before I head on to doing the sheaths. But next up, I do some texturing on the handles and on the blades. Now, some of the handles are hollow. Basically, they're filled with resin, so they're lightweight. And on those ones, I did not do any texturing on. But on the blades themselves, I used my Dremel, I believe it was the Fordham. Did some little markings on there, and then on the belt grinder with a small wheel attachment, I textured some of the handles off to the left there, and put an edge to all the blades as well. There were 2 that I did quite differently, where I have some brass, aluminum, and stainless rivets, and I essentially went through and milled down into the blade just a short depth, like a little step into the blade, where I would then be able to insert all these rivets. So here they all are inserted in and polished up, and I figured these would just be nice little accents. Something that I hadn't done before, and I think they came out kind of neat. So after this, I ended up moving on to making beads, because like I said, all these are going to have lanyards off the handles. So I ended up making some composite beads and some metal beads. Now these ones are copper and brass. And I essentially had a quarter inch thick sheet of copper and brass. I just drilled a bunch of holes out, and then cut them out with an angle grinder. And after that, took them again to the belt grinder on the small wheel attachment, and just did some like rock texture faceting to them, just to give some dimensions. After that, I did a little forced patina to darken them up, and then with a real light sandpaper, I just went around and hit all the edges to give them some high points that stand out. And the forced patina I did with a product called Birchwood Casey's Aluminum Black, and it's made for aluminum but works really great on brass and copper as well. And here are the composite beads that I made. The black ones are carbon fiber. The white ones are lamb bone, and I also did some metal inserts in them. There's aluminum, and I believe it was copper. Yeah. And the blue ones are just a resin that I had poured and inserted a aluminum rod into, so they all had the same inner dimension. But these are the copper and bone. We got bone and aluminum, bone and carbon fiber. I just kind of played around with different looks, different thicknesses, and then I ended up putting them on my metal lathe and just polishing them up so they looked a little presentable. There's some aluminum carbon fiber and carbon fiber and copper as well. So yeah, they thought they came out pretty nice. I would have liked to add some more rounding off and dimensioning, but that's what I came up with right there. And onto the Kydex. Now, I didn't get many shots of cutting the Kydex and shaping it, but this is essentially where I'm drilling out all the holes to insert the rivets. And none of these are glued up at all. All the clamps are doing is helping me keep them all straight. I shape all of the Kydex on my belt grinder, and here they are, all with the rivets inserted. And the flaps on the back of each sheath is, in my eyes, is what I was trying to make as far as like a pocket clip carry. So essentially, you would insert the main body of the Kydex into your pocket, and that small portion on the back would be hanging out of your pocket. And you'll see here in a sec, yeah, here we go, how I, heated the Kydex up, folded it down, and added some retention right there, so that it would have some sort of a grip to your pocket. And all the Kydex that I have done, it's all on a little electric flat top griddle, which works really great and get a good heat to it, an even consistent heat, and just a little homemade foam press. But Kydex is really a fun material to work with, that's for sure. Very sturdy, and there's a couple that you can order with graphics printed on the actual Kydex, which I thought was really, really cool. There's a lot of different types of prints out there, different colors as well, so I'll definitely be playing with Kydex in the future. That's for sure. Next step is doing paracord, and right here I've got them all laid out with each different paracord color. Down at the bottom you'll see some throwing knives. Those will be in an upcoming video, but here's the first batch with the paracord done, the beads attached, and I will say that as far as paracord goes, or any type of knot working, that is not my specialty at all. So all the paracord that you see on these, any other knives, daggers that I make, that's all done by Steph. She is a wizard with knot working. The turquoise one off to the left, she did a regular braid with a DNA knot, and the one to the far right, she did a full, complete spiral DNA knot, which I thought came out really cool. But here they all are finished up in the sheaths with the paracord and the beads inserted. But again, really, really cool job on the paracord, that's for sure. And here's some close-ups of the copper and brass. And the things with these is I had made, I want to say there was 27 all in one batch, and they were all Christmas presents for friends. The majority of these went to the really awesome guys over at Liquid Metal Concepts, and the others went to other friends and family members. And here's the last little few of that batch. Again, the cool DNA knot. Yeah, paracord is just a really cool accent, especially with the colors that you can mix and match. I definitely look forward to getting different colored Kydex to do that as well. And Next up are these last two knives with the rivets inserted. One of them I went ahead and did some shaping on the handle, some rock texturing around the edge, as well as some battle damage that I do with a small metal cutoff tool on the Fordham rotary. But definitely the solid handled butter knives are the way to go, because they allow for a lot more texturing, a lot more customization. The one up top, I just figured a nice polish, keeping it clean, would look real good. But here's those two all finished up after a nice polish, after the paracord. Kind of thought these two looked really elegant. And blades all nice and sharpened up. And lastly, this is one that I made, and I had just gotten in, I finished off all the other knives, they went off to everyone else, and I had just gotten in my stamp, my metal stamp, from Buckeye Engraving, and was trying that out on this knife. I also tried out for the first time some working on the spine, those 4 little cutouts there, just to give it a different look, kind of a different dimension. But again, first time trying to do my stamp in a knife. Had a bit of double stamping, like ghosting appear, but yeah, that's alright. Just a learning experience. But yeah, here's this one all finished up, doing some glamour shots. But I've got quite a few other butter knives I'm working on right now, with quite drastically different finishes on each one, and I'll be documenting those a lot better, and I'll be making quite a few of these. As soon as I get some time, I'm going to do a big long batch and probably post them up on my Etsy, see how they do, see if anyone likes them. But I just thought it would be kind of a fun novelty item to make for people, you know, a little letter opener or a tactile butter knife, you know, self-defense type carry weapon. But yeah, they're definitely fun to make. Nice little click in and out. I love Kydex. It's a great material to work with. Again, I love it. So nice retention on that. Alright guys, well, I appreciate you watching again for another partial walkthrough build video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.